Welcome to Enough Said, episode 14. We've crossed over the ugly 13 there. We're going to be talking about episode 13 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And just so you know, we are aware that we did not do our Wolverine episode that was supposed to happen in the middle here. And the reason is we have a special guest for the Wolverine episode, which we are going to do this week. So expect a second Enough Said episode crammed in here this week, all about Wolverine. So, why don't we get started? I am rambunctious Rob Southgate, and with me is...
I'm Jello-y Jack Wengroski.
Now, weren't you Jello before? You just can't get over this, gelatinous thing, can you?
No, I went with the gel thing today.
You're all into that gel thing. Well, I almost said Rubenesque again, so I guess we're running out of words. You and I have a vocabulary of about 6 words, and we've crossed over now.
How many J words are there, really?
As far as I know, maybe 7.
Yeah.
8, maybe. You haven't used jerk.
Jerky. Jerky, Jack Wengroski. A little bit of, what's his name? A little Michael J. Fox disease there.
Oh, I was going beef jerky. You're so mean.
Oh, I like him. I mean, I've watched a little bit of
I
it.
like him. I'm just going to be mean to him and say awful things. It's all right. All right, let's get back in time. Little Michael J. Fox for you there. How'd you like that? Let's go back in time and do our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. So what did you think of this episode?
I really liked it. It had some really good elements. I liked the action. I liked the power kick by Agent Ward.
The action in it was awesome. Yeah, the power kick. And then, you know what? I'm going to tell you my favorite action moment. May, on top of the train, pulls the ripcord and gets pulled off by the parachute.
Oh, that was very cool.
That was so cool. I loved that. That was at that moment, I literally turned to Martha. I was watching it with my wife, Martha, and Molly, my daughter, and I went, this is what the show's supposed to be. And that's the action we're looking for. That was S.H.I.E.L.D. That was sweet right there.
Now, a big thing...
And I'm a big dork. They made fun of me. But anyway, I digress.
Well, what does that have to do with anything?
Right.
Well, the big thing I noticed was a whole change in cinematography format. Now, as you're going with the story happens, then they go back, they rewind about 5 minutes, and they do it from the other person's point of view.
Oh, yeah, the storytelling, that structure was really cool, how they kept going back to that point. And the thing I liked about it was, when you see that type of we'll call it filmmaking, that type of storytelling. There we go, that's better. When you see that type of storytelling, oftentimes what they'll do is they'll go back to the same point. You'll see it from the other character's perspective, but they will play out the entire same thing. This took it back to the same point, or to a fixed point that we knew. We saw a little bit, and then it jumped to the future, moving the story forward. So it was really just kind of filling in the blanks rather than let's get the new perspective on things.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. And I really enjoyed the way it unfolded. Like when we saw the train disappear, I was fully convinced it was graviton. I thought there's something with that technology. He made this thing disappear. We didn't know he was going to be in this, which he wasn't. But that's what I thought was going on. And then to find out that it was the stuff that's in the night gun. It was like an advanced version of that caused them to pass out. The train didn't disappear. They just, to their perception, it had. I thought that was really, really cool. And it was also cool that May was right there, and she's the one that started the car.
Right.
I thought that was great. And I love that, when that happened, how Ward is like, this is suspicious. And Coulson's like, no, I call it convenient. This is a good thing.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of setup in this, and I tell you, there were a couple telltale signs, but let's get back to in the beginning, they really laid the outline, which sometimes they do a little recap, but I tell you, in that first scene, that the Quinn, Clairvoyant, and the 084.
Yeah.
And...
Oh, are you talking the thing where they do the little recap before the show starts?
Right.
Yeah, these were really cool, and they showed Mike Peterson and everything.
Yeah, and of course, sometimes it's kind of bringing us back up to par and give us a little reminder, but that was really the whole show outline right there.
Yeah, it was. Well, and they gave you clues when they said the 084 thing. It was like, when he shot her, your first reaction is, oh no, they're going to weeden her. They're going to kill this main character off. And then you go, wait a minute. They said at the beginning, they specifically brought up the 084 thing. This is going to lead to an unveiling of her powers.
Yeah, it's got to, because she's near death. And, of course, they did the whole setup between her and Fitz talking about a 084. And,
yes.
Have you ever heard of that being a human? Everything that 084 has been something dangerous. And he says, if it was a person, I wouldn't want to meet him.
Yeah, right.
Not the greatest thing to tell the Sky right now.
Right. And he has no idea that she's the 084.
Right. So the clairvoyant is really kind of zoning in on the team, or at least it looks like.
Right.
And
well, the team seems to be hot on the clairvoyant, and the clairvoyant is making them a top priority.
Right. And
the fact that they were aware of the team and what the team was doing, and then you find out that really, I think a lot of that was a setup by the clairvoyant. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and the clairvoyant, although he knew they were coming, was not happy about it.
No. And I actually think was surprised by some things that unfolded.
Right. Well,
mainly May was a wild card and was unpredictable. The fact that the clairvoyant was aware when they showed up at the house there, and Quinn had already shot Sky. They knew they were coming. They were like, oh, they're late according to our plan. But I think things did not unfold necessarily the way the clairvoyant thought they would, or at least the way Quinn did.
And he can't read Coulson's mind, so there's that definite.
How about there's that moment when we got so much to talk about with this, when Quinn was talking to Deathlock. Okay, to Mike Peterson, who is going to be Deathlock.
Right,
okay?
Project Deathlock. We've seen it in the leg.
Yes. So when he was talking to him, and he was saying the thing about, you can't hurt me because you're under control of the clairvoyant and blah, blah, blah. I'm watching that scene, and I'm actually getting this feeling that they're not necessarily talking about what's happening in that scene, because, or at least Quinn isn't. Because Quinn, the way it played out is, he's going to test Deathlock. He's going to test Mike Peterson to see if he'll do what he's supposed to do. And, but I think he was actually seeing, am I going to be able to use this tool to gain control over the clairvoyant at some point?
Right.
I really think that's what was going on there, even though they didn't get into that. The way he was saying it, the way it was playing out, I had that feeling very strongly.
And Quinn is the kind of guy who looks for loopholes and opportunities.
Oh, totally.
And can he use Deathlock for his own devices? I don't think he's going to think that Deathlock is going to be his in with the clairvoyant, but I think he's trying to kind of figure out the rules.
Yeah. Now, do you know the character of Deathlock? Are you familiar with Deathlock?
I am not. I know he's a cyborg, part human, part machine. But
I think we all know that from this episode.
Yeah, but really,
But you never read any Deathlock stories or anything?
No.
Okay,
no.
I am going to recommend something to everybody out there to kind of get up to speed to this, and I'm going to recommend it to you. There was a really fantastic article it was on the website Den of Geek. So they're at www.denofgeek.us. And there's an article called Deathlock, the Marvel Comics Phenomenon That Almost Was. And it gives the history of Deathlock, because Deathlock actually started back in the 70s, but it was part of Astonishing Tales, and it talks about how it was like very disconnected with the audience. It was like very alien and, this cyborg thing. And then in the 90s, Dwayne McDuffie and Gregory Wright and Butch, I think his name is Goosey, I'm not sure, Juice, Goosey, something like that. They reinvented Deathlock and changed the whole thing. And actually, what this article is saying is the way he was reinvented, the way the story was made, he had all the earmarks of a classic Marvel character. They said this was the Hulk, Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men. He is Wolverine. And they said this was the potential to be one of these characters, but it kind of got mishandled. They did a couple of great things with the character, but then it just kind of became a character that shows up and fights and whatever. And this article is just really good, and it leaves you with this hope. when I finished the article, my impression was, or my takeaway, I should say, was this is their chance. This is Marvel's chance to take a character that did have this much potential, explore it on this show, and have a true superhero that feels like it's born out of this world, that can cross over. I mean, if this is that strong a character and they handle him properly, who's to say that we don't have, at some point, a Deathlock movie that we're all behind?
Right.
Or at least a Deathlock TV series, aside from S.H.I.E.L.D., something where it focuses on this character.
And, of course, we've got the new RoboCop coming out, so this would be...
Shut up, I'm so excited about that.
This would be perfect timing.
Do you know, that was one of those movies that I always thought, why would you ever remake this thing? You know, because a lot of times remakes of things like that, like Total Recall, was horrible.
Right.
But every preview I see for this thing, it looks so freaking awesome. And you know who the lead character is? The guy that plays Murphy?
Yeah.
He's the guy from The Killing. He's the lead actor in The Killing.
Oh, no kidding.
He is such a good actor. So every time I see him, I'm just like, oh, this is going to be tough and cool and awesome. And, oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting. I kind of hope that Peter Weller gets a little cameo because...
Like a cameo, yeah.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I went to University of North Texas in the jazz program there, and Peter Weller, back when he was in school, was a trumpet player in the...
He was a trumpet player,
in the 4 o'clock lab band. And
oh, shut up. He was there at North Texas.
Yes. He hung around with Marv Stam and a lot of the big jazz guys. So, you know, he was...
I remember seeing him interviewed. Okay, everybody, get ready.
Big
Here
jazz
comes
man.
Old Man Rob. Here comes Old Man Rob coming in. I remember seeing him interviewed on The Tonight Show back when Johnny Carson was on. And he was actually probably promoting something goofy like Buckaroo Banzai. Or,
I love that movie.
Movies. So do I. That's a movie that needs to be redone or brought back to life. Boy, I hope that's not licensed. Oh, I love that movie.
You can always do short snippets.
Yeah, of course. And of course, when we can't tell what it is, it makes it even easier. But he was on Tonight Show, and he was on with Johnny Carson, and he told this story about getting in a car accident, and when the guy got out of the car, the other guy that got out of the car was Herbie Hancock, who is a huge jazz musician. And he was so excited, you know, Herbie Hancock's like, hey, man, you hit my car. And he's like, you're Herbie Hancock. And he said he happened to have his trumpet there, and he pulled it out and just started playing because he was just like, I want you to hear that I can play. And it's like always stuck with me. Now, I probably had that story completely boned up. It's probably not even Herbie Hancock. It's probably like, you know, like it was Jack Wingrosky, and I pulled my trumpet out, and, you know, he threw something at me. But to my memory, that's how it worked. And I just always remember that.
And you probably would have gotten away with it, too, if it wasn't for those pesky kids.
Right. We probably would have gotten away with it if you hadn't told the story of The Tonight Show.
So,
okay.
Speaking of shows...
Back to the show. Let's talk about the one negative of the show.
All right.
I had one big disappointment.
All right, go for it.
Stanley's cameo was crap.
It wasn't too awkward. You should...
It was...
As for you...
He was... First of all, he's a better actor than that, so it was really weird. Second of all, it was completely jammed in. Why they used that to promote the show, I have no idea. The truth is... You know, on the last episode, we talked about all these possibilities they could do with Stan Lee. Even after that, it was so awkward and weird, I was still thinking, okay, that was too awkward, weird, and lame. They're going to have him be something important here. Now, a tiny bit of me is still holding out hope that we're going to find out this whole time he's been the clairvoyant or he is important.
Right.
You know, he could be... this is kind of crazy. Now that I'm thinking about it, see, I'm still holding out hope, and it's not going to be. I know it's not going to be. I'm going to cry over how lame that was. Why waste Stan Lee? Okay, you know who he could be is not Luther Manning. He was the original Deathlock, and then Michael Collins became Deathlock, and now it's Mike Peterson. I'm getting all these names confused. I have them just written down on my paper. Harlan Riker. He could be Harlan Riker, who is the head of Roxxon Oil, I believe. I may have that wrong. Roxxon Oil is the one that developed the Deathlock stuff.
Right.
So he could be the head. He could be Harlan Riker. That would make sense. He's on the train. They're transporting this $10 million hardware developed by his company. So that could work. Thoughts?
Boy, awkward pause. It could work. For where the show is going, I want to say that it has something more to do with the clairvoyant. But that would be.
You think he's going to have something to do with the clairvoyant?
I do. I think it's either something to do or he's the clairvoyant. I just don't.
I really hope so, but I think that he was just a dumb cameo.
I think it was because.
Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah, it was. It just. But I think if he was the clairvoyant, that would invest a lot of acting time with him, which I don't know if they're willing to do.
Well, and he's getting older, too. But you know what? I don't think it will take a lot of acting time. I think that character can show up in 2 episodes, and that's it. Have, even 5 minutes on screen, just be menacing. Just find out he's the one pulling the strings, and he disappears. That's all they need for him.
Right.
And that could be what we're seeing. We could have seen him here. He pops up again later. He pops up a 3rd time, and all of a sudden you go, whoa, he's the clairvoyant. That would work. But man, was that awkward and weird. And disappointing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was looking forward to more than that, especially when they're going to advertise the fact that it was a little more than a pass-through.
Right.
That would have been more effective if he had just passed through the train and just kind of given a nod. That would have actually been better than what they did.
Yeah, right. Right. Just had him be the conductor or something. It would have been like, okay, that was lame, but, oh, man, this was ugly. Plus, he had the 2 women with him, and I thought, okay, he's got the cute women in the shot with him. They looked like they were propping him up. It was very awkward and weird. Oh, Stanley, please be the clairvoyant.
We love you, Stanley. Oh, yes, we do. Your cameo was less than poo.
Hey, do you know? I don't know if you caught it, but there was actually a Nuff Said Jack and Rob and Martha shout out in this episode.
Ah, do tell.
Yeah. You didn't catch it then, huh?
No, I really didn't.
Sky doing her Scottish accent.
Oh, Barry!
It was Barry Little showing up.
So it'll be an American accent then.
It was the worst accent, and I watched that. And I was like, "Oh God, that's what it sounds like to listen to our show."
Yeah, Fitz is in his house going, these guys are crap.
You crap. I got to give the 2 of you a smack bottom.
If it's not Scottish, it's crap.
It's so bad. We're so terrible at that.
I know, but that's what makes it awesome.
Well, and this week Martha told me, she did it on the podcast, I think, but all week she's been referring to us as Barry and Harry Little. Rich Little's twin sons that can't do impressions.
Starting to sound like the Bee Gees.
We need a 3rd. And we'll call that one Robin Little, just because. It's because it's little Bee Gees. Okay.
Bee Gees thing. So what about Word's kick? I mean, you went into that scene and the lady's asking him to help with the bag, and of course, right in the back of my head, I'm thinking, okay, this is a setup. He's gonna turn to pick up the bag. He's gonna turn to knock him out. But you kind of see that realization in his eyes, like, okay, now she's just kind of messing with me. He walked.
Right. He knew what was going on. We see her with the gun. We know that he knows what's going on.
So she takes a swipe. She takes the gun out. She cuts his arm, and things are going. Another guy jumps out, and
I know, it's all crazy.
So he finally grabs a hold of her, and he just goes to punch her right in the face and go, oh, it's a chick. Screw it, she's going to kill me. And, baps her.
I know.
But then my favorite part, the guy comes at him, and he does this power kick.
Yeah.
That was just perfect. Solar plexus, the guy blows up against the wall, and it's like, yes, that's the kind of thing I've wanted to see from Word.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah, well, that's what I felt about this whole episode. Like, the action was fantastic. Like, May's fight scenes were great. His fight scenes were great. Like, everything like that was really working. Other than the Stan Lee part, everything was working for me. And even, like, the dialogue, like, in the past we've made mention of like, oh, they're being a little cutesy, they're trying to be funny when maybe that's not the right tone for the show. You know what? This one had some really funny stuff in it, and it was the right tone for the show.
It was. I didn't feel like there was any pretentiousness. I didn't feel like Fitz and Simmons there were any put-ons. They were
great.
Yeah. The only thing was when she kissed him on the cheek, and he kind of stiffened up.
Yeah, right.
It was like,
right.
Come on, man.
Right.
Loosen up.
Yeah, well, I don't think that Fitz has a lot of experience.
Well, he complained that it was kind of motherly, but I think if she had planted one on his lips, I think he would have filled his pants.
Well, it'd be a totally different show if that had happened, but yeah, I think you might be right.
I know it's Irish, but I think there would have been a Blarney Stone in his pants.
Oh, God. Yeah, a little haggis. There's some Scottish for you. So, all right, let's move on from that. So I wrote notes about the fight. I thought that was all awesome. The fight in the cabin was just so cool. The train vanishing, really cool. As I said, May disappearing, or not disappearing, May disappearing. May flying off the train with the parachute, all really cool. The holotable scene was funny without being corny. I thought that was really great too.
Yeah, they let it go just long enough. They got in this. You know what? Let's just do this.
Yeah. Well, and when Coulson went up and he did that thing with his hands and it turned into just like a blob, it was like that's really funny. Because it was just going long enough where you're like, okay, they're going to keep playing with it and then give up. But then when he turned it to a blob, you're like, oh yeah, that's totally me with my cell phone screwing something up.
Right.
So that was really good. Man, there was a line I want to bring up. This was my favorite line, and it was only because it was a great little moment when Coulson said, "I can't deal with Asgard today."
Right.
That was really good.
Yeah, it was like that Thor reference. We almost kind of forget that there is that kind of interdimension to the alien world.
Right. And it's like as soon as he says that, it's like everything is right back to it. You're like, okay, I got it. And Coulson did have to deal with that personally, so that was just a really good line. I think we talked about this on the last one, but Sif is going to be on here in a few weeks.
Ah.
So Asgards are back.
So maybe that was just even though that was kind of a joking reference, maybe that's a little
precursor.
A precursor.
Yeah.
So
just reminding you that we're in that universe still.
Oh yeah. So what did you think about I guess whatever, not an agent, but police officer Russo?
Remind me.
When they took over the local investigation, Coulson was talking to Russo, he was the local authority.
Okay.
And said, hey, look, we're not taking over the investigation. And in the next couple conversations, I really thought there is something wrong with this guy. I can't put my finger on it, but...
Oh, I think I wasn't paying really close attention to this guy.
Oh, there was something on my radar that really set me off. I knew something was wrong with this guy from the start. The way he was communicating, the pedantic banter that he was kind of having on some of the updates. It was like, man, that's just kind of awkward.
That's so funny because that just completely went under my radar.
Yeah. No, I knew that guy was fishy from the start, and of course, when he shows up after torturing May and shows up at the plane, and I knew this guy was wrong.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes here as we're talking. I do not see one thing about him. That just completely missed my radar.
Yeah,
I think I was so all charged up, like a junior high kid on soda. About all the action and everything that I completely missed that.
Well, that was that's the one weakness I think in the SHIELD system is that when you rely on other authorities, local police or CIA, FBI, any of these kind of interagency kind of things.
Right. You're going to have that friction.
Right, and that's the weak
link. But
link.
why was he sketchy? What was it about that? So that's Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I might have to go back and rewatch that part just to see what's going on.
I may really have superpowers.
You're an 840 or whatever. I'm gonna get that number wrong every time.
Zero.
We all know.
It's a 084.
Hey, at least I was out of order, but I had the right numbers.
You are out of order.
This whole system's out of order.
You can't handle the truth.
There's no truth here. Cut it out.
So speaking of awkward, how about when Ward starts talking to Coulson about he finds out that May has told him about the sex thing.
How great was that when he's like, boy, what do you think Coulson's going to say if he ever finds out? And she's like, well, he didn't really say anything because I told him and he didn't react. That was really well played. I like that they're not letting that stuff sit and kind of hang in the atmosphere. It's like, okay, here we go. This is not something we have to wait for. Let's flip it over. Now we get to deal with that. So now when you're watching those scenes with Coulson, he knows, Ward knows. It definitely adds a dimension to what's going on. And truthfully, I don't think Coulson. I think Coulson doesn't care in the way Ward would think he'd care. But Coulson said it straight. I loved when he did that. When he's like, "Oh, we're doing this now. Okay, let me tell you what I think of this." I mean, that was really well played.
That was good leadership. I really have had a sort of a problem sometimes with the leadership and his character that,
I think they're not showing it to us the right way.
Right.
I think it's there, but we're just not seeing it. They're letting him be secretive about stuff, and it's like, well, maybe share it with us a little bit more and let the team be in the dark a little more.
Right. This is the first time where I thought, he just stomped all over Wade.
Yeah, totally.
And he's
Ward.
Ward.
I don't know who Wade is. You keep bringing this guy up.
Wade in the water. Wade in the water,
is
children.
Is that a reference?
Wade in the water, children. I'm very spiritual,
Yeah, you just keep trying to sell it, Jack.
Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. You may have to edit that out.
I don't think so.
So anyway,
I think that's pure gold, Jack.
When that reminds me, I sent you harmonica gold one time when I was on the road. Do you remember me sending that to you?
I actually listened to it.
That was awesome.
Oh, it was much less than awesome, but it was awesome.
But just the leadership and said, okay, like you said, are we going to do this now? This isn't protocol. And, if this affects my team, I'm going to put a boot up your ass.
Right.
And I was like, yes. And by the way, if all it is sex, just get used to the term.
Yeah, just use the term.
Right.
Stop being a baby around here.
I thought that was great. I thought, man,
I did too.
That is the team leader right there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed all of that. I thought this was just, I know I'm glowing right now, but I feel like the show finally worked.
Yeah, I was excited from the beginning, but when I saw Ward's kick, when he drop kicked that guy.
That did it for you, huh?
Oh, yeah, that adrenaline just went shooing.
Okay, so let's get to the two biggest reveals or things that happened, which at the end, and we've already touched on it, but Deathlock, that was amazing. We see Mike Peterson in that hyperbolic chamber, and then I'm thinking he's the package, but he's not the whole package. It's that leg.
Right.
I was like, holy moly, that's what the guy paid for. It wasn't for Mike Peterson, it was the leg. And that was so amazing. When they put that thing on, that seemed really real. Like you could tell it was going up into him, and he was like, oh, painful. That was really cool. And, in the comics, when you look at what happened with Deathlock, it's a very similar story where they put him in this, robotic body and control him, make him do things. And that's exactly what's happening to Peterson. He doesn't want to kill people. We've seen his evolution. He's a good guy.
Right.
But he has to do it because he knows they're going to blow up his brain. He wants to go see his kid. We saw that little scene. He's like trying to see his kid, and the guy's like, you're not seeing him yet. He is not driving the bus,
Right, and never will be.
And in the comics, what happened is Deathlock eventually started gaining control over whatever it was that was controlling him and making him do bad things. He had to kill people as Deathlock, but the guy that they did it to was a compassionate, good person. And over time, he got control of that robotic body again. So I think that's what we're going to see. I mean, I'm positive that's what we're going to see. We're going to see him do some bad stuff. They're going to play him up that he's the bad guy, and then you're going to start to see Mike Peterson taking control of this Deathlock body.
So I guess that's where we get Peterson in the fact that they really need this kind of character to be taken over by Deathlock and kind of take that role, because really, I don't want to say I'm really tired of it, but with this kind of technology, they can peg anybody.
Right.
Why do you need a guy that's really kind of half blown up? Except for
the reason is because he's got superpowers.
Well, that's true.
That's why you've got to go with him. The guy has superpowers. He is a 084.
Right.
So that's why you have to go with him. And they could take any blown up guy and throw him in there, but this guy has superpowers. He has something special. Now, if they were just putting his brain in there, that's what the original Deathlock was like. He didn't have superpowers. He was a regular guy. They put the brain in there, and that's how it went. They're not putting the brain in. They're taking body and mixing it. Well, he's got superpowers mixed with this Deathlock body. Now you've got something interesting going on.
Right.
And you've got that classic Marvel tragic character, while at the same time, they're going to be portraying him to be bad, but you know that the evolution is going to be there. He's going to be a hero.
Right.
So it's cool. And now Skye gets shot. And we touched on that too. I'm convinced that's what's going to lead to finding out what her ability is.
Yeah, and
it may be multiple things, but one thing I'm telling you it's not is Wolverine's healing ability, because that's not happening.
Right. No, they're going to have to piece her back together, but we're going to see, we got to see some hint. They may not fully put it out there, but we've got to see some hint of where they're going with her superpowers.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, they may not just say like, okay, this is what she has and this is who she is and what she does. Just like with Mike Peterson, this whole time we thought he was something else, and we didn't think he was actually a character from the Marvel Universe. Now we know he is.
Yeah.
This is the biggest reveal of a character we've had. Very well could happen with Skye.
A couple of things I saw interesting in that exchange there, and Quinn is just a smartass. He's kind of a spoiled rich guy that's, kind of, right now he's got the backing of the clairvoyant. But
right.
After the second...
But he's going to turn on that clairvoyant the first chance he gets.
Oh, yeah, and that's going to be the end of him real quick.
Right.
Yeah, I don't see him lasting much longer, because two things that I saw right away. Of course, anytime you shoot somebody in the stomach, that's just a slow, painful death. So,
right.
He's already got a tick against us right there.
Right. Well, and he was doing that because she essentially betrayed him. She went to S.H.I.E.L.D. away from him, so he's going to show her, I'm shooting you in the stomach, and you're going to die a painful death.
However, what he said was, I have my orders too. So, we're led to believe that the clairvoyant ordered him to do this to Skye, but he seemed to be testing the limits like a Peterson. So let me get this straight. You can't hurt me. Well, only because there's no orders.
Right.
But what if I hurt you? There, nothing wrong. But dang well, the clairvoyant's going to get you.
Right.
So he's like an 8-year-old kid trying to find out where his boundaries are.
Right.
And
right.
I think he's going to lose quite spectacularly and very soon.
I think you could be right. I think that they're setting him up to be this bad guy, but I think he's going to be a bad guy for a short time. He's going to get put in his place as these supervillains are really starting to grow. And yes, he'll be credited as being somebody that did plant a bunch of them, like plant those seeds, but he's gonna upset that clairvoyant, and that's gonna go badly for him.
Oh yeah, he's only gotten this far, I think, because of the clairvoyant. And, once he pulls that carpet under his feet, Quinn's done.
Yeah. Now, I read a bunch of reviews and things of this episode online, and, everyone was really very positive about it that I read, and they were really, on board with this. Nobody bashed Stan Lee. We're not bashing Stan Lee, but we are bashing how they used him. I didn't see anything about that, but there was one nugget that I found I did not catch. And I read this and I was like, as soon as I saw the name, I knew who the name was, but I didn't catch this. They said that there was a point in here when somebody revealed the current location of Emil Blonsky, or Emil. Did you hear them say Emil Blonsky?
Yes.
Okay, who said it when? Do you remember?
Boy, I don't.
Or did that name just stick out to you?
It just stuck out because that's one of those things that, it's like you kind of think back.
You just hear it and you're like, yeah, I heard that. Do you know who Emil Blonsky is?
I don't.
Okay, this is really cool. Emil Blonsky is the guy that becomes the Abomination. Did you see the second Hulk movie?
Yes.
Okay, Tim Roth played Emil Blonsky, and he became the Abomination, who was the big bad guy that the Hulk fought. So this is just making a reference to him makes me think of all the things we've been talking about. They've got gamma radiation. They have made it clear that that is part of this show. We know Hulk is in this universe, but now they're like touching on characters that are from the Hulk world. I'm telling you, we are down a path that's going to lead to things like the Abomination and Red She-Hulk and all that stuff. We could even see the Red Hulk show up in this. I mean, that would be unbelievable because they can certainly do that and still keep the Green Hulk and do that whole storyline in the movies. They don't have to, taint that by putting it on this show, but they could bring General Ross in and turn him into the Red Hulk. And oh my gosh, how exciting would that be? And have the Abomination on. And instead of a big movie, 30-minute, fight with these guys, we only need about 30 seconds of the Abomination and we would be really excited.
Oh yeah. It doesn't take much to engage us that way.
Right. So imagine, all of a sudden you have Deathlock having to fight the Abomination, and it's like, wow, we're starting to see some characters here and some interesting stuff that they're never going to get to that in the movies again. The Abomination, that was great that he was in the movie, but the chances of them doing more with that, developing the Abomination, very slim. You could do it right here.
Oh yeah.
So that was one that I found really interesting. I just didn't catch it.
Now,
I'll tell you another thing that somebody caught. If you look, when they showed the name, now this I totally caught when it said Deathlock on his leg, and it said, of course everybody caught that, and it did say the agency, the company that made it. So I'm like, okay, that's the correct company and everything.
Right.
But the other thing is, if you look closely, it said version 1. So what's going on there? Because we already know when they were talking about this is the stuff that's in the Night Gum, but they're way more advanced. It's like, this is version 1 of Deathlock. How quickly are they going to evolve the Deathlock technology?
Well,
is that going to take over his body? Are they going to make all the parts to make Deathlock?
Well, that's, that really sounds like where they're going.
Oh, I hope that's where they're going.
Because right now, he's got the centipede parts. Well, he's still missing, I don't know that he's missing, but, there's still a good bit of mangled there. But yeah, why not? You've got the robotic leg. What's to say, hey, let's just give him a robotic arm.
Right.
Or are they going to do, as, he does these dangerous missions, is, he just going to conveniently lose more and more body parts until, really all that's left is, his brain.
Right.
Kind of like a General Grievous kind of thing.
Yeah.
A brain and lungs.
Yeah. And asthma.
I will.
That cracked me up in that movie.
I will get you.
When he had that asthma, it was like, wait a minute. Couldn't they do something about that? Why is every bad guy asthmatic?
Darth Vader has a breathing condition.
Right.
General Grievous has a cough.
Right. They give them all that. That's how you can tell the good guys from the bad guys.
The wheezing.
Yeah, the wheezing.
Well, that's pretty much true in real life.
Star wheeze. What does that make me a bad guy? I'm sitting here wheezing.
Well.
Oh, you jerk.
So.
Well, okay, big question. Is Skye going to survive?
She's got to survive. Did you see the reactions to the whole group? Like, she's fixing to die, and everybody's freaking crying and falling apart.
Right.
I mean.
Okay, this is where I'm not actually going to draw a line in the sand. My gut instinct says, of course she's going to live, and we're going to find out about her superpowers, and this is a pretty cool way of doing it. But it's a Joss Whedon show. And the other part of me says, yeah, we saw them all reacting that way, and it's all painful and everything, and we might get the reveal of her powers. and then she'll die. She could be gone within a couple of episodes.
I just don't think so. I think
I hope not.
She's got the it factor, and I think where do you
By
get...
that, you mean she's a cutie pie. I'm agreeing with that.
This is where I start wheezing.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I still say this is like the best looking cast on TV. Holy cow.
Yeah, I liked it when they get into the train car and May reveals her undercover outfit.
Right.
Hello.
Yeah, right. Like, man, you guys aren't just fit. You're all, like, perfect. That's amazing.
That's not real life.
No.
They're all life model decoys.
Right.
None of them are alive.
They need to have us on as agents.
Yeah, we're much more believable.
Yeah. Man, they've gotten lax in their regulations, haven't they?
I know.
How come that agent's always wearing pajama pants?
You don't want to know his superpowers.
Yeah.
But it involves indigestion and gas.
Yes. So we are talking about me then.
Correct. So
all right.
Here's my little side theory before we go, is that when we see Mike, his little eyeball message, and he's leaving, the orders are clear: do not engage SHIELD.
Yeah.
So you want to know my theory here?
Lay it on me.
I think the clairvoyant had Quinn load her up to see what she's going to blossom into.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think the clairvoyant said, you know what? Pump a couple into her belly. Because why didn't he just shoot her in the chest and be over with it?
Right. Shoot her in the head.
Shoot her in the head. This is done.
Why did he shoot her in the body? You know what? You totally have it.
And then at the end...
He's trying to bring out her superpowers right there.
Right. Maybe he thinks that he can control her or put it on his side, or he's seen something. But I started to think, you know what? When I saw that message, they're going somewhere with Skye, and she's going to be a big part of this. So that's why I don't think she's going to die.
I think you totally got it.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
That's why...
Yeah, I think you got it, man.
Yeah. And that's why I'm gel-filled today. Gel-filled to Jack.
You're gel-filled. I don't even remember what I was at the beginning of the show. Was I rotund?
You were rotund at the beginning of the show and will be at the end of the show.
Right. That doesn't end. And neither do I, ladies and gentlemen.
But so on.
So let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. I want to. I do want us to do our Wolverine show with our special guest, and I think that we could cover news and things on that episode. So we'll get that in there in this week between this episode and next week's episode. Let's get that Wolverine one in. We'll talk it out a little bit because there's a lot there, and there's a lot of stuff that dropped. I mean, I don't know if you saw the previews that were on the Super Bowl. If you didn't, you've got until that next episode to see them, because there was Spider-Man 2 stuff and there was X-Men stuff that dropped this week, and I don't know, man. There's just lots of stuff.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of news coming out.
Yeah, no kidding. So let's end it. I'm drawing a blank here, Jack.
Well, while you think about it, I just want to let you know I ordered my tweaked audio headphones.
Oh, yeah. How are they?
They are great. They're an affordable, nice version for your iPhone. I got the ones with the microphone here, and I'm using them as we speak.
Are you using the microphone?
I am not using the microphone just the way that it's hooked up to the computer, but I have used it a bunch on my iPhone, and I'm using them as monitor headphones right now. They got a nice little bass boost, and for the car, they're $20-something if you use the Southgate coupon off our website.
Well, right, you get 30% off. So you go to the website and you click on the link, and then just type in the coupon code Southgate, 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. And,
I really think they're nicer than the Skull Candy or the Philips or the Magnify, any of these low end. I think they blow them away. These are good kick around, have them with all the time, a nice little bass boost, a decent mic, and you can't beat the price.
So I'm just so proud that we have them as sponsors. It's awesome.
Yeah, if you like that extra with the bass boost, it's a very nice set of headphones.
Yeah, so if you need headphones, go to our website, click on the link, go get this deal. It's awesome. And, the other thing is we also have audible.com, which is they're a sponsor of the show. And, we have another one we can talk about too. But Audible.com is audiobooks. And if you listen to this type of entertainment, you already like this type of thing, listening to your entertainment. Why not get into audiobooks? Once again, go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Click on the Audible banner. It's at the top of every page, and it will take you to their website. Just sign up. You get a 30-day trial. You get one free audiobook to check out. If you love it, awesome. Keep a subscription. If not, you can cancel at that point. I don't know why you would, but, it might not be for you, but give it a try. And it supports us, and it shows Audible that you're, a fan. And that really helps us. And then the last one is that we have on the site right now is Entertainment Earth. Did you happen to click on that yet, Jack?
Refresh my memory. I think I did.
Okay, Entertainment Earth sells toys and collectibles and all sorts of very cool stuff for all those geek properties. So you want to find cool Marvel stuff? Go to Entertainment Earth.
Oh,
again, click on the link on our the banner that's on our website, and it will take you in there, and it enters our code automatically when you do that. So definitely check it out. They have Walking Dead, they have Doctor Who, they even have like old Twilight Zone stuff. It's so great.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go get some Doctor Who stuff and maybe get my son to go up and get some Walking Dead things.
Yeah, nothing better, right?
Right.
So, I'm going to throw one more out there, and this is the last one because we just added it, and I don't know if anyone's even seen it. We got T-shirt Bordello on there now.
Ah.
So T-shirts, fun, funky T-shirts are the thing, right? Everybody's looking for those. You see people in these, and you're like, man, that's the coolest shirt. Where do they get that? You can never find it. Guess what? Go to our website, click on the link. That's where you find it.
Yeah.
T-shirt Bordello. They have one. Speaking of Doctor Who, they have a great one. We're going to get it for Molly. It's the TARDIS. And it's got Horton coming around, and it says, Horton hears the Who. It's just great, man. And they have all sorts of geeky ones, Walking Dead, zombies, Star Trek. They have one with Spock saying, Trek yourself or wreck yourself or something like that. It's all good stuff. Basically, I am going to live in T-shirt Bordello T-shirts. So there you go. There's our big pitch. Once again, it just helps us out. So please do some shopping there. Buy gifts. Get those discounts. Get those sales. And do it through our website. It really, really helps us.
Awesome.
That's it. All right. For the Nuff Said podcast, I am rambunctious Rob Southgate. Was I rambunctious?
Yes,
I'm rambunctious and rotund Rob Southgate. And with me is...
Gel-filled Jack Wendrowski.
Gel-filled. I thought you were jelly-ish or something.
I moved.
That's disgusting. I have such a visual now. I think we should get a candy maker to make an actual gummy bear that looks like you.
Oh, I think that'll sell great.
Yuck, it's hairy.
And the Southgate fake brought to you by Rob Southgate.
Yeah, right. So follow us on Facebook. Go to iTunes, subscribe to us on there. Give us reviews. It really helps us that way, too, in a big, bad way. And you can find all of our old episodes and all of our other shows at our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. I'm done pimping. Let's end it. Thanks for listening, everybody. Until the Wolverine episode, enough said.
Enough said.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.